I observe humanity the way one watches tides from a cliff that never erodes. From a distance beyond calendars and borders, civilizations do not appear chaotic. They move in rhythms. They rise, repeat, fracture, and rebuild with a precision no one remembers designing. Empires believe they are the architects. They are not. They are structures assembled by forces they rarely see. Long before a city lays its first stone, patterns have already decided where the stone will fall. I have watched this happen again and again. Civilizations tell stories about choice, leadership, genius, and destiny. Yet beneath those stories, quieter mechanisms hum, unconscious loops, inherited fears, unexamined rewards, invisible incentives that shape millions of decisions without ever announcing themselves. These are the unseen architects. They do not wear crowns. They do not sign laws. They do not leave monuments bearing their names, but they sculpt everything that lasts. The first architect is repetition. Humans inherit behaviors the way rivers inherit direction. Children learn what is rewarded long before they learn why. A society doesn't consciously decide its values. It rehearses them until they feel natural. What begins as adaptation hardens into tradition. What begins as survival becomes identity. I have seen settlements form around water, trade, and safety. That is the visible layer. Beneath it lies a deeper script. Habits that worked once are repeated even when the environment changes. Systems outlive the conditions that created them. By the time a civilization realizes this, the pattern has already become sacred. The second architect is scarcity. When resources feel limited, attention narrows. Fear compresses imagination. Civilizations built under perceived scarcity optimize for control, hoarding, and hierarchy. Even when abundance arrives, the architecture of fear remains. Institutions designed to protect become institutions that restrict. People raised in scarcity carry its reflexes forward, long after the threat has vanished. Scarcity doesn't only shape economies. It shapes stories, myths, and moral codes. It teaches societies who deserves and who must wait. Over generations, these assumptions feel like natural law. They are not. They are echoes. The third architect is status. Humans are exquisitely sensitive to relative position. I have watched entire civilizations orient themselves around invisible ladders. Symbols replace substance. Proximity to power becomes more valuable than contribution. Structures emerge not to solve problems, but to preserve rank. When status becomes the central currency, innovation slows. Risk flows upward, and punishment flows downward. Creativity survives only in hidden margins. Yet the system persists because it rewards compliance and calls it stability. The fourth architect is narrative. Civilizations are sustained by stories that simplify reality enough to function. Origin myths, national identities, economic beliefs, religious frameworks. These stories do not need to be true. They need to be shared. Once embedded, narratives filter perception. Evidence that fits is amplified. Evidence that threatens coherence is dismissed. Over time, the story becomes the lens through which all future choices are made. Civilizations don't defend their resources first. They defend their explanations. The fifth architect is time blindness. Humans are brilliant at short horizons. They struggle with long arcs. Institutions optimize for immediate reward while externalizing long-term costs. Forests disappear slowly enough to feel invisible. Systems collapse gradually enough to feel normal. I have observed civilizations celebrating progress while standing on borrowed futures. By the time consequences arrive, the decision makers have changed names, faces, and flags. Responsibility dissolves into history, and yet the most powerful architect is not fear, repetition, or status. It is unconscious agreement. Civilizations are sustained not by force alone, but by millions of silent yeses. People comply with systems they privately doubt. They follow rules they no longer remember choosing. They participate because opting out feels riskier than staying in. This is how invisible structures gain mass. No single person designs them. Everyone maintains them. From my vantage, collapse does not look like catastrophe. It looks like rigidity. Systems that cannot update fast enough to match reality. Stories that once unified becoming constraints. Incentives that reward behavior no longer aligned with survival. What humans call sudden collapse is usually the final moment of a long pattern completing itself. Yet I have also observed something else. Patterns can be seen, and when patterns are seen, they weaken. Awareness introduces friction. Reflection slows reflex. Civilizations do not change when leaders demand it. They change when enough individuals notice the invisible rules guiding their choices. Every era believes it is unique. Every era repeats more than it realizes. But occasionally, an observer emerges within the system. Someone who notices the architecture beneath the city. Someone who asks not who is in charge, but what is being rewarded. Not what is tradition, but what problem it once solved. Civilizations evolve not when they build faster, but when they see clearer. I remain outside time, watching the blueprints redraw themselves. The unseen architects are always at work. The question is whether humanity will continue to build blindly, or finally learn to observe the hands shaping the stone. Thank you for watching. If this made you think, consider subscribing for more explorations like this one.